Screen recordings, everything.
And if you just joined and you have a challenge, we have another batch of training videos that we just made on the tools recently. If you sign up, just email me and we'll get you access to those as well. And while Deb, you can stay on to answer any questions. Kate, I'm sure she'll stay on because she likes talking to people as well.
Love you guys.
I'm going to hop off, and Deb, stay on here for a little bit, and I will talk to you all soon. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your time.
All right, Deb, I'll stay on with you, see if there's anything I can answer.
All right, guys, for those of you who are still here, if you do have any questions, we're here, so we're happy to answer. I have dropped the link again in the chat box if anybody needs it to sign up. So if there are any questions, otherwise, we really appreciate that you guys took the time to be here with us today. Thank you to Kate for a great session. And I think you guys did get a lot of great information just out of this webinar alone. And we will be following up. Everyone will get a recording and some of the items we did talk about today. So if there are no more questions, we will end the call. If you do sign up, yes, you can get a receipt for that payment.
I think someone else, Deb, had said that like they were having card issues, so they can reach out to you too.
Yeah,
right?
reach out to me. I'm going to drop my email in the chat again.
Yes, you guys will get the email template from today, but I guess if you want all of our future email templates,
that will be if you sign up.
Yes.
Sia, you have a question?
Yes, I do. Is this going to be housed in what we have for the accountability group? Not accountability, GCI. Yeah, for accelerator.
It will be on the community platform. If you've already joined that community platform, the 2022 blueprint will be, the recordings will be housed there.
So all those, the GCI Accelerate, we have access to the 10 by 10 in that community platform. If we were in the other courses, that's the one.
If you weren't part of 10 by 10, you don't have access to the 10 by 10.
But if you are, my question.
Yeah, if you are a part of those different groups, then you would have access, of course.
Okay, perfect. That's all right. So it's in one spot. And that's so if I need to
everything, exactly. Everything is in one spot. It's all housed under one roof. It's just different access levels.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah. Time, but just want to know if we can pay. As Chirag mentioned, this cannot be paid with 10 by 10 funds. The 10 by 10 challenge is just ending, and Compass is opening up a marketplace in May. And there'll be offerings in that marketplace from the different coaching companies, ours included. And that is where you can use your 10 by 10 fund. So this blueprint print program is not part of that. So thank you for that question. And for those of you who are participating in 10 by 10 who are still on this call, yes, this program is not part of that. Did you say the session recording? Yes. The session today, we are recording it and we will send it out as a follow-up for anyone who missed part of this and for anyone who missed all of it and wants to have that information. Yes, we will be doing that. Okay. If nobody else has a question, I think we're down to the last few people. I'll just drop the link in the chat one more time for those of you who maybe still didn't grab it. And we thank you guys for hanging out with us and hopefully look forward to seeing you next week. Thursday, April 7th is the first blueprint. Again, we have it at 2 times, 9 a.m. Eastern and 9 a.m. Pacific. As Chirag mentioned, both sessions will be the same content. So you can come obviously to one or both if you choose. It's a great networking opportunity, if nothing else. If you have the time to attend both sessions, you'll meet other Compass agents from across the country and you can, network. So Kate, thanks again for all your help and participation. And thank you guys. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.
Bye guys. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Happy birthday, Chirag. I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday, and I hope you have the best day ever, and hopefully you're with your family. And I just wanted to say thank you for all that you do for me and for my team, and I can't wait to watch you keep going to the moon. So thanks for bringing me on this journey with you, and you're the shit. That's all. Happy birthday.
Hi, Chirag. It's Melissa. I wanted to wish you a happy, happy birthday, one filled with joy, with love, with laughter, with health. You changed so many people's lives. You especially have changed mine on so many levels. You're my advocate. You're my friend. You give me advice. You just really care, and that speaks volumes. So I care about you, and I wish you just the best birthday ever. Big hug. Bye-bye.
Happy birthday, Chirag. You deserve a special shout out today because you're the one who's always taking time out of your day to help others and give them a shout out. And so I wanted to make sure you got a special shout out on your birthday. Thank you for bringing so much positivity and encouragement to so many people. We hope you have an amazing day.
Happy birthday, Chirag! Hope you have a great day. All right. Bye.
Hi, Chirag. I wanted to send you a quick video note to say happy birthday. I want to wish you all the best for you and your family, and I hope that you have a great day. And I want to thank you for taking my business to the next level and everything that you do. You've been very helpful and instrumental to my growth in real estate. I want to thank you so much. Once again, happy birthday, Chirag.
Everyone a second to get in, and today we are going to be doing a recap. So this is what I will tell you. We do have a lot of stuff to go through today, and I'm going to go through it relatively quickly because I want to touch upon something we've done in every session. So let's get started.
This thing's on mute again. It always does this.
I don't know who that is, but you have to mute yourself.
Honey?
Can we mute everybody?
It always does this all the time when I.
Thank you. Okay, you can all hear me? All right, cool. So today is our last session, and today we're going to do a recap of everything that we've gone through throughout this entire program. And before we start any of our recap, the first thing is I just want to stop and take a moment and just say thank you. So if everyone can just take a moment and just turn all your cameras on, I'd love to just see all of you, right? Because over the last 10 weeks, I don't know about you guys, but I feel much that we've all built a bond together, right? There's a very communal feeling here. I see a lot of excitement in the chat box. I've seen people share wins. We've seen people in our forum connect with each other. And I feel like this is just the beginning of the relationships that people have made here, right? And I was in Portland this past weekend working with a woman who's redoing my brand. And she asked me a question. She goes, how do you describe your clients? I go, well, we don't have clients. And she's like, what do you have? I said, we have a community, right? And a community is really made up of all of you. And the inspiration that you have created over this last 10 weeks for all of us is remarkable. You know, over the weekend, you know, being, I guess, a coach's kid is probably not the easiest thing, right? Because I'm always looking for those coachable moments. And so my son has this new infatuation with wanting to learn basketball. So, you know, he's not as tall as the other kids and everything, right? But I said, look, you can always learn something. And he asked me a question. He says, Daddy, like, who's been learning a lot lately that you've been working with? And I actually told him about all of you. And I said, you know, Compass had this 10 by 10 challenge. And he said, well, what's a 10 by 10 challenge? I said, for 10 weeks, they had to commit 3.5 hours, 1 day a week to coaching. And he goes, that sounds like a lot of time. And I said, he goes, well, what's that like? Why did they do it?
And really, we ended up in this 15-minute conversation where my daughter was just kind of just sitting there listening. And I was explaining to him what coaching is, why people show up, how they show up, and overall what commitment looks like, right? Has it been easy to sit through 3.5 hours of coaching every single week? I don't, right? Every minute you put somewhere is a minute that you take away from somewhere else, right? And if you look at time, you can't buy it, you can't create more of it. It is your greatest resource in life. And the fact that you choose to spend this much time with us, to us means everything. You know, you could have gone to any other program, you could have not shown up. You could have dropped out in the middle of it. The fact that hundreds of you continue to do this, you inspire us every single day. So I just wanted to, like, as I'm scrolling through kind of the screens and I see everyone's face, I really just sincerely from the bottom of my heart want to say thank you. You know, and the most valuable part for all of you is what comes next. How do you implement this stuff? And you've heard me talk about this probably ad nauseum for the last nine weeks at this point. You need to take this information and make sure your business and life get better at the same time, right? The whole point of real estate and coaching and the investment you made is to have an actual strategy and a plan to apply all the things that you have here. There's tons of good information available to you, but you need to simplify it, learn, and grow. And remember, there are hundreds of people out there on this call doing the same thing you are. So I want to take a moment and just sit here and just kind of acknowledge all of you. Right. So just want to say thank you again. And if you want to share for everyone else what your biggest takeaway was throughout these last 9 weeks, please share, because it might inspire someone to do something else. And then we're going to get into our rapid recap of the last 10 weeks. So these are all of our sessions, from Pitch and Compass, curating the 5-star buyer experience, CRM is marketing, business tracker, building boundary with clients, price, curating predictable seller experiences, and curating predictable buyer experiences, and then our Compass agent panel. So we're literally going to go through rapid fire, something from every one of these sessions. Now, today's roadmap. We'll go through the session highlights. We'll talk a little bit about what's next, and then we'll talk about our Q&A bonus session that we're going to have as well. So take a moment, get ready, and the rocket ship is about to begin. And I apologize in advance for how fast I'm going to go today. So Pitch and Compass, this was our first session, and really in understanding a dynamic pitch, you need to think about what a seller really cares about, right? Above the iceberg is who's going to sell my house fastest for the most amount of money. But in reality, it's like what sunk the Titanic, it was what's underneath that iceberg. And underneath every single person is a set of motivations, expectations, disappointments, and concerns. Something that motivated for you to meet with them that evening, an expectation they have of what that experience is going to be like, past disappointments that are going to play in and be projected into their future decisions, and concerns, right? We all have concerns as human beings of making the wrong choice, you know, buyer's remorse, like what happens if, like those things all play into this. Now, when you furthermore go into it, what do sellers really care about, right? Price, marketing, and communication. What specifically will you do to sell my home for the best price? What is the exact marketing that you'll do to get me the best price? And what is your communication plan when working together? Regardless of what listing pitch or presentation you go on, these same 3 things happen, right? You know, I want to know how you're going to get my home sold quickly. Great. What I hear is most important to you is you want to know the exact marketing plan I'm going to use to get you the best price. Yep. I want to know about the marketing plan. How are you going to expose my house? Great. What I sound like most important to you is the exact marketing plan I'm going to use to get the best price. You know, communication is really important to me. Oh, so what I hear you saying is you want to know the exact written communication I have that will give you the blank and blank and blank. I think we get the drift, right? But you have to practice this stuff, because in the end, anything outside of these 3 things and under that iceberg, it's about you. It's not about them. Now, this is the most important thing when communicating with people. Perceived value versus actualized value. Perceived value is when you talk, it feels like what you give someone. And as real estate agents, I commonly find a mistake people make is just because you said it, you think the other person understood it, right? Actualized value is the value you got. And I'll give you an example here, right? So Scotty, I see you on my screen. My perceived value is all of the 9 unique sessions I created for you, right? I created every situation, every seminar, excuse me. I created every workshop from scratch to make sure that everyone had a different experience. But the only value that you will ever get out of this is, one, the thoughts, feelings, and what you got out of the sessions listening, but your actualized value is what you took out of this and used in your business. So if you use one of our scripts and that helps you get a client, that's actualized value. Use one of our scripts, you get a price reduction, that's actualized value. You use one of our email templates, you get a listing, that's actualized value. So you need to make sure that when you're speaking with clients, they're actualizing your value, because if they don't understand clearly what you're offering, there is no actualized value. Then we go to session 2, curating a 5-star buyer experience, right? And in this one, we talked about that whole decision-making matrix, right? When people are choosing realtors, they have a set of factors that they choose when picking a realtor. Then the second factor is for buyers is, what do I look for online? And then we actually talked about what these matrices look like and ultimately how to make educated decisions based on them, right? So as a realtor on one side, they could look for a great negotiator, active listener, your experience, expertise, likability, reputation, professionalism, perspective, and that you're company specific, right? Now, if you look at what they're searching for online, amenities, price, budget, locations, comparable properties, school information, community information, how well can you service a buyer if you're offering the same things you're getting on these websites, right? Because if you don't know where these websites start and you don't know where they end, you're diminishing your value before you even get started. Right? So think about this. If I could get all this information on Zillow and then you offer me the same thing, do I see a actualized value in what you offer? No, you have a perceived value in the way you communicate, and I don't actualize anything. Actually, where I lead with is I could just do this on my own. So where we need to be tactical, and in our event in Boston, we've actually learned, learning from reality, we're actually going to map out like, what does each site look like, right? Because we talked about what is it for just listed, when they go into contract, when they sell, what other informations are offered, how are they communicating the information to the clients? We want to be able to map that all out, and you can 100% do this on your own, and then be able to compare how is your experience as an agent at Compass and Collections different. Because remember, would you sign up for coaching if you receive the same service for free? No, you never would, and I wouldn't expect you to. Our job as a company is to figure out where Compass starts and ends, right? We only work with Compass, so for us, it's easy. So what we offer has to be a direct extension. If you've noticed, a lot of the stuff that we offer has not been duplicative of what you've done in core and other areas. Some of it, by the nature of what it is the same concepts, but the strategies are all different. So you need, as an agent today, more than ever before, need to be aware of what's being offered. And you nailed this when you could say, when Paul Coleman says, yeah, Chirag, I'm looking on Zillow, I see these properties. Great, so you probably like these 3 things looking on that. And you're going to say, yeah, that's exactly. And you're going to say, hey, what we find clients look in the areas are also interested in these 3 things. Are there any of those of interest to you? And they always say, you know what? That's exactly what I was thinking about. And now you've created an actualized value in them that they can't get out of the website. So if you're working with buyers, it's something you need to do. Now, the next part. I wasn't kidding when I told you rapid fire. A quick story. Yesterday as a team, we were going through this, and there was like 40 or 50 slides. And there's no way you can do this all in one day. I'm like, well, we have to go through it quickly. And this is why they're recordings. CRM is marketing, right? Every touch point you do to a person, every email is marketing. It's part of your brand. It's part of who you are. So I encourage you to stop sending spam out to people. I counted this today as we were having this workshop, and I was going to talk about this. I had to spend 6 minutes out of my day today unsubscribing to agent newsletters that had a bunch of properties that have no relevance to me. So if I did that 5 days a week, your bad newsletters are stealing 30 minutes out of my day, 30 minutes out of each week. 2 hours out of every month. And in the year, that's 1 full day I've spent deleting spam emails. Stop doing this to other people. That's marketing who your brand is, right? Great brands focus on campaigning and target marketing. Now, when you think about a CRM, it's small actions done consistently produce oversized results, right? This is about habit. It's about routine. It's about consistency. And this is about committing to the action. That's what you need to do. It's not about these elaborate marketing plans and everything. Make a marketing calendar, segment your database, and communicate with them effectively. And when I think about the CRM, the key to ongoing success is the word confidence, right? Why do I say confidence? Think about your CRM as a big networking group, right? Because if you're at a networking group, wouldn't you want to walk up to each person with confidence? Well, if you're at a networking group with a bunch of people you didn't know, you'd be walking around like, who should I talk to them? What should I say? If I say that, what are they going to think, right? When you go through your CRM and you're cleaning it out, right, you need to organize and archive. If within 15 seconds or less, you don't know who the person is and you wouldn't have confidence reaching out to them, just hit the archive button, right? This should not be complicated, because what we know in performance coaching is it's those people that you don't know that you're afraid of what they're going to think that stops you from sending stuff to the people you actually do know, right? Raise your hand if that kind of sounds familiar. It's like, I see Susie smiling. You know, you're going to send an email like, wait, I don't know these people. What are they going to think? I don't want them to get upset with me. If they get upset with me, they're going to think I'm a spammer. If they think I'm a spammer, they could ruin my reputation. And literally, it's like, holy shit, all you had to do is really just archive all these people, because the goal of a database is to build a community. It's not to have a bunch of random strangers so your ego feels good that you have a 5,000 person database. In reality, the goal should be to get to 1,000 quality contacts. It's the industry standard is 10% of those people, if marketed to properly, will refer you one bit of business. Now let's think about how we organize this. I like to use a clothing system. Groups are like shirts, right? But if you break down your shirts, there's different kinds. There's t-shirts, there's button downs, there's polo, etc. So groups are like the bigger groups of people. The tags are how you break them down, right? It could be first-time seller, first-time buyer. You could list the geographic areas they're from, right? Kids under 5. These are all the segments you use to market to these people. Now, what we also touched upon is the lifetime value of a client. If you're not doing this, then you're missing how to effectively target relationships. Remember, simply create tags 0 to 25, 25 to 50. And based on that, when somebody buys a property, give them the tag. If they refer somebody, add on the other tag and add on that same amount to the person. So this way, when the year ends, you know who your VIPs are. And each quarter, this is how you know who to send gifts to, who to take out to dinner, right? Like Fran is a great person who sent me a bunch of clients. Like I should want to take her out to dinner. I'm actually going to take Fran out to dinner tonight when I'm in Long Island, right? So, you know, if you think about this, you want to spend time with the people that are most important to you. But if you don't know how to track what you're doing, it is literally overwhelming. And if Paul Coleman or Nancy sent me 15 clients and she gets the same generic Christmas card as everyone else, she might be a little upset. People that do more should get more. But as agents, we don't know how to focus because we make everything complicated. 3 types of people in your CRM. People you've closed business with, people who've referred you business, or people you want to have or have a relationship with to grow your business. I don't know anyone else that should be in your CRM. This should be your most guarded, coveted asset. This is your past, your present, and your future. Now, here are the people that ruin your CRM. Trying to see things that ruin your CRM, trying to make every contact perfect. I need to get all these things. I need to tag them. I need to put their notes in. I need to do all this stuff, but you haven't done anything yet. Just group, tag, organize, and have the people in there that inspire confidence. Quantity over quality. The last time I checked in life, it's the quality of relationships, not the quantity. And the third part is too many random people that make it difficult to focus on who matters. Just hit yes in the box if you have a bunch of randos that you really do need to clean out of your CRM. Anybody? All right, there's a lot of you. So maybe what you guys should do is set up a CRM accountability group. So, you know, now we know for the people that are in our program, we're going to set up an accountability group that actually talks about, let's come here and clean everybody out, right? Let's call it 10 seconds and done. So you just need to get rid of the people. And remember, this is about focus, right? Susie, we have lots of groups, man. There's a group for everybody. This is about focus and being present. And if you tell me you don't have time for this, here's your real challenge. Go open up the screen time on your phone, right? And go look at how much time you spend on Instagram, right? Go look at your screen time. There's another thing on screen time called pickups. It's how many times you pick up your phone. It's a first note. It's the first thing you do after the pickup. There is a time management system inside of screen time that most people don't ever know about. So literally, if you just cut your social media in half, you could clean your CRM out within 3 months. Now, the next section is business tracker, right? Remember, this is the operating system to your business. It is the only place that exists in this entire real estate industry that everything can happen in one place. Think about that. This is how you create an effective experience for your clients. This is how you create a collaborative experience. Where else, if you're showing a buyer and someone's like justifying your value and how do you work, you can show in one place where all your CMAs are, where their collections are, where their tours are, where your notes are. All of this stuff lives in one place. The last time I checked, is there any other company that offers a piece of technology like this? No. It's something you can share contacts with your clients. Now, the way every single one of you should be running your business, you should be logging into this every day. I get that it's a financial management system, but for you, this is the system that gives you freedom, flexibility, and the life you wanted as a realtor. Let me explain. When you got into real estate, it was for freedom, right? Like I can do what I want when I want. I'm an entrepreneur. Flexibility, I can make my own hours, and limitless income. Well, this gives you freedom, right? Because if someone has to fill in for you, everything is there, right? This is like the front desk system at a 5-star resort, because then it's not captive just to the person at the front desk. This is collaborative, Mary, right? Like I can go to anyone and share my contact with somebody and somebody could service me, because every conversation, the notes are there. And just on a quick side note, the notes from your CRM and business tracker sync with one another, right? You put the note in the CRM, it'll show up in business tracker, right? So this is the most effective way to work. And this is the biggest miss I see at Compass right now. In the thousands of agents that are actively in our programs, like we're shocked to see how many people are not doing this. Hit yes if you have implemented this into your business. Anybody? Every day, religiously. See, now this is inspired change. For the people working on it, just remember, I always tell people to put a sticky note. When you feel like you're getting stuck, ask yourself this question. Am I making this complicated? Most of the time, the answer is yes, right? And the next thing is, how will I make it simple? And if you use those words, how will I make it simple? Your brain will focus on a result, right? Change. Very simple. We're coasting, right? So I'm just going to stop for 1 second and let everyone just take a breath, because we're already on section 6 and we're 20 minutes into this. So I just want to get a quick recap. Like out of these first 5 sections, any aha moments, any big takeaways, anything that you guys are excited to do, share in the chat. Don't worry, whatever section 5 was, I'll go back to it again. I don't know why the slide wasn't there. So look, we have some great some great answers in the chat, right? And a lot of this, which inspires me, is about action. I don't know, somehow 5 isn't in here, but don't worry, I'll go back to the beginning and the end. So price, price, price. Remember this one? We all like this one. The number one thing that is stopping you from creating the income and business you want is our ability to have effective conversations with our clients about price in the market, right? In listening to what you're saying and listening to what our other clients are saying, this is essentially what we built this whole 2022 blueprint program around, is a lot of these conversations, right? If you are dreading talking to your clients about the market and price because they're going to be like, I don't want to overpay. You know, you hear all the time that says, you know, I really want to move. It's really urgent, but like, can you find me a deal? Sellers, look, the market's at its peak. They still want more money, right? And you feel like someone described this to me the other day and they go, I feel like I'm in constant combat. Constant combat. I'm like, what do? You sell houses, right? We're not like fighting a war, but they feel like I'm always arguing with people, right? Like, is that a bit challenging to try to explain something to somebody now? Right. And look, the reality is on a human level, and I shared this the other day, and look, everyone has their own view of what happened at the Oscars. We live in a world that does not have much forgiveness in it left. I think what Will Smith did was horrible, right? Like, to get up and attack a person on national television is pretty bad. But on the flip side, let's look at it as a human being. Could you imagine how much pain and agony and what kind of mental state a person would be when they're about to win one of the biggest awards of their lives to get up and attack somebody like that? And how does this have to do with real estate? Listen, a lot of you are working more than you ever have in your lives, right? I see people fatigued from the market now, like I do at the end of the summer when they're like, all right, I just need a break, right? And it's only the end of the first quarter today. And the reason I share this with you is, look, a lot of us are like one crazy client away from snapping at some point, right? And like, as funny as it is, it's true. Like, you talk to some people and agents, they're like pissed, right? Because think about it, you wake up every day, people have all these demands of you. Gas is like, depending on where you are, $4.50 to $7, right? And you're just going and going and going. And these people want to go out on evenings and weekends, and the clients want more marketing, more advertising, more. But guess what? They're not doing their part on being realistic. They're blaming you on the market. They're mad that they're not houses. You are not doing, like, what am I doing? Like, you're a facilitator. You're a real estate agent. Do you choose the people that move? Do you choose the prices that they have? You don't choose any of this stuff. And all of this comes down to a simple thing. How effective are our conversations? Like, I spent more time on this than anything today, because if there's one thing I hope you walk away with, it's this. You must learn how to do this. This is never going to change. Never. Right? Like, so like, once you have to walk, you have to learn how to crawl. And before you run, you have to learn how to walk. If you want to sell real estate, you need to know how to have an effective conversation about price in the market. Whether it's a low inventory market, that's one conversation. If there's a ton of inventory, that's a different conversation. Same problems, right? I want a deal. I want to overprice. I want to cut your commission. Now, here are rules of an effective conversation. Number one, the person asking the questions controls the conversation. Don't tell, ask. Everything has to be in the benefit of the other party. No one cares about you. And people make decisions for themselves, because the last time I checked, buying a house is a personalized experience. Number three, no telling, no explaining, no being combative. So when somebody asks you a question and they says, you know what, John at Century 21 said he would do it for less. Well, do you know the marketing plan? Have you, like, as soon as you start doing that, you're working against the other people and you're working against yourself, right? You need to understand when somebody says that, say, great, Gavin, I know John at Century 21 said he would do it for less. I know your time is very valuable. What specifically had you call me over here this evening? If you're happy with his marketing plan and commission that was being offered, let them answer. And you're always in agreement. I completely hear and understand what you're saying. Regardless of what you do, I support you 100%. That is the most freeing statement for somebody to hear, because you gave them the permission to feel how they want to feel. They don't have to be a certain way for you. And remember, whatever they do is always their choice. It doesn't matter. It's their choice, not my choice. So someone says to you, and I'll give you guys an example. They say, you know what? I would ask you a question, Robin. What are your goals and expectations in the market? I understand what the market is, but I don't want to overpay. It's so crazy. And I think what people are paying for houses, they're setting themselves up to potentially for a disaster in the future. Hit yes if you've heard that from a buyer recently. Right? I don't want to overpay. I don't want to get stuck in a bad situation. Right? And these are very logical things. Do you know what most agents say in that moment? Well, if you want to buy a house, this is what it takes, all these stupid things. And do you know what the simplest thing to say is? So what I hear you saying is you feel that people that are winning homes today are overpaying. Is that correct? Yes. Given that you feel that the buyers that are moving into houses today are overpaying and that you don't want to overpay, which is a terrible feeling, what made you want to look for a home right now? Ask them. Isn't that a pretty logical question? If I'm going to a department store and I'm like, every single suit in there is overpriced. Well, actually, no, I'll go backwards. I'll go buy a car right now, right? Buying cars, I called Escalade a few months ago, and the guy said to me, if you can get a car for $20,000 above the MSRP, you should jump for it. I'm like, what? I'm like, all right, I'll see you later. But if I'm in that dealership, the question the dealership should be asking me is like, if you feel that all these cars are inflated and this is what we're selling them for, what brought you here today knowing that? And you need to understand how to have these conversations. The next part about this is not owning the market with buyers and sellers. Remember, you don't create markets. You need to help them understand the market by going through the control. Remember, there are things you control, things I control, things no one controls, right? What do you control? The price that you offer, the terms, right? As a buyer, price, terms, how fast you act once an offer is done. What do I control as the agent? I could help in negotiations, finding properties, finding off-market properties, communication throughout the process. Can either one of us control the prices that other buyers are willing to pay for homes? No. So they can't be mad at you, right? Now, in session 7, we went through creating a predictable seller experience. Remember the path to predictability, the listing presentation, bringing the house to market, customer service, the communication plan, after an accepted offer, opening escrow, after closing, post-closing. This all needs to become predictable. So when you're thinking through how do I do this for me, you need to sit down and map out all of the things that go into this. Before, during, and after. I would map out every email, every touch point, everything obsessively. And this is the way you create a predictable experience. We all like certain restaurants. We all like certain hotels. We all like certain places because we know what it's going to be like. Our biggest apprehension of trying a new service is we don't know what it's going to be. Uncertainty, right? So if you create a predictable experience, like I know one agent on here, she has an entire book and she could show it to her clients, what she does, what her team works, and how every single detail is done. And it works all the time on pitches. People are like, wow. But by the way, when you create a predictable experience, you can actually show your clients what you do. So if we start looking at the things, right, before the listing presentation, right, these are all the different areas you need to look into, right? From the CRM to business tracker, to the comps, to the marketing calendar, the communication plan, insights report, getting your pitch book ready. After this presentation, update the notes, tasks from any promises made. These are all the different things that you need to do. So depending on what you want to do in your business, you need to know where to focus. Now look how detailed this is about bringing the home to market, right? All of these different things are done. And this is a framework that we suggest you follow. So if you're listing heavy, this is something in the second quarter, not a week, guys, the second quarter I suggest you focus on, right? And look how detailed this customer service plan is. Now, if you have team members on your team, is this a central system people can align to? We can all just say yes, right? Like people join your team to work with you and the system that you've created and the success that you've had. The challenge that agents have is they suck at creating operations and systems. So it's very hard for them to communicate. And then they get mad at their team members that they're not doing it their way. And thus is the challenge in people management. So these are all the different ways that you can go through this, right? Now, section 8, curating a predictable buyer experience for you. Has anyone written down their standards since this session and really been focused on following through and holding true to them? Remember, a heartbeat and a pre-approval does not count as a qualified client anymore. And a real reason to move. Everyone wants to move. Who doesn't want to go move? There was a statistic that somebody told me, I think Butch Hayes, who's on here, said, he's like, since this happened, 70% of people have reconsidered what their current living situation is like. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We've had 5 people do this, right? 5, 6. Listen, 10% is 40 people, 5% is 20 people. There's less than 5% of you who have actual standards for who you want to work with. Why? Change your standards, change your life. Write down your standards, you only end up with the right clients. Who is your ideal client? Who's not your ideal client? And that not ideal client thing, you guys all should have something like this, these big easel pads, right? And you should constantly be updating this, right? When you find something in a client you like, write it on the left side. When you find something you hate, write it on the right side. And literally then you know what you're looking for. These things have to be written out and they need to be specific. There's a saying, if you don't know where you're going, you could end up anywhere. If you don't know who your ideal client is, you could end up with anybody. And that in this business is very scary. Because what some of these people want is like they belong in a mental institution and prescribed like drugs because it's completely illogical. But I have this new joke, Jessica. You know what it says? It says this: I have a really good idea. Let's take a buyer that gives us a bunch of unrealistic ideas about the market, right? And then say to her, all right, let's go out and look at them. So we've agreed with their unrealistic ideas. And now after they've told us their views on the market, we bring them out to show them homes. All right, let's see what we can do. So let's bring somebody out who has unrealistic expectations weekend after weekend, evening after evening, and not ever find them a house and have them do anything but be pissed off at us. They're going to be angry, complained, and pissed off, and it's nobody's fault but our own. Because if we had a simple standard that says is in agreement with me on my professional view on the market, you'd never have a bad client again. It's pretty simple. But if you don't have standards, this is what happens. Nobody has any standards. It's crazy. How do you not have a standard, right? Like it's the same thing with marketing, right? Like, do you think the people at Louis Vuitton know who they're marketing to and who a standard of their clients are? Look, you walk by the Louis store. If you're not their client, you don't even have an idea of walking in there. You're like, oh no, this is expensive. This is not for me. And the people that walk in there with confidence. You need to have the same type of standards for who you are, who your brand is, what you represent, and protect your time and energy. Listen, our lives are way too precious to be spent with angry people. Because everything that they decide to do is a choice, and their choices allow you to make a choice if that's what you want to participate in or not. Does that make sense, everybody? Listen, I could sit here and tell you about a bunch of different widgets and wizards and gadgets, and those things are all cool, but the reality is all those things get you clients. You still have to work with people. And to me personally, as a human, I care more about people being happy and growing, I think, more than anyone else. And like, if there's one thing I could take the 400 people here to do, is if you could really just nail this and give yourself a break. Everyone needs a break today. Because you guys every day are grinding. There's this over glorification of grind and hustle. In some ways it's cool, and in other ways it's really stupid. Yeah, I'm grinding and I'm hustling, but I'm also missing out on a lot of important things. The goal should be to grind smarter, hustle harder, and have more time off. Like, how can I raise my top line revenue and put the hours I work down? But if you don't have standards, it's not going to happen. Remember the 3 types of challenging buyers: an unrealistic buyer who's referred to you, right? Like, that's just crazy. Like, just because they're referred to you does not mean you need to bring them out. In reality, if you take out an unrealistic buyer, you're risking ruining your reputation with somebody who already trusts you. Buyer who's previously looking on their own, who now wants an agent. Well, how have you been searching? I've been primarily looking on my own. I'd like to work with an agent. You know what the magic question is? Great. What do you feel or think or believe an agent can do for you that you're not able to do on your own? What do you think, feel, or believe an agent can do for you that you're not able to do on your own? You will find out within 15 seconds how valuable they think you are. Buyers that view all agents the same. All agents are the same, Jenna, but I'm going to choose to work with you. Great. If all agents are the change, what specific do you feel that I can bring to you as a benefit that the other agents can't? If they can't answer that question, see you later. See, look, time is like water that goes into this bottle, right? In the end of the year, the more times you say no, the more extra water you have to actually drink, be satiated, and spend on things that matter. If you just took that same time and you spent it all on vacation, you guys would be just as happy. Because remember, those bad buyers, the bad buyers, those bad clients, they don't make you any money. So you might as well just go on vacation and get rid of all of them. It's the same thing. It's all just time. I don't have time to go on vacation, but I have time to take out an unrealistic person that wants a deal in a low inventory market weekend after weekend after weekend. And I see some of you laughing, but it makes a lot of sense. I just seen a message come in that says, a direct message says, I'm going on vacation. I'm firing all my clients, bad ones, right? So think about this. Is anything I've shared complicated? Yes or no? There should be 400 no's. And if I have complicated people, then I have a problem and I need to ask you why. None of this is complicated. Everything in life is simple. People make things complicated. All right, let me go back to session 5 now. Bear with me here. Okay, for session 5, that was building boundaries, right? Now, these are 3 words that you should never remember in Sandlot, they're like forever. So if you remember me, remember never. Write these words down on this thing. Whatever you need, there's no presentation for this one. Somehow the slide is not in here. Whatever you need, right? I'm available 24/7. I can help you with anything you want. Whatever you need, of course, whatever you need, Ryan, no problem. I can help you. I'm available 24/7. Call me anytime, right? Whatever you want, I can help you with. Just let me know. And then here's the magic in building boundaries. Then your clients call you all the time. And then you guys complain, like, my clients keep calling me. They keep asking me for all this stuff. And I'm like, have you said 1, 2, or 3 of all these things? And they're like, yes. And then I ask them why. Well, because I wanted the business. Well, I don't know any other business that operates like that. Not even drug dealers operate like that, right? They go to sleep too, right? It's crazy. True luxury is not 24 hours, period, end of story. And if you're going to pay for true luxury at that kind of expense, believe me, you don't need to be rich. You need to be wealthy, right? Like in Chris Rock, he said it, he goes, Shaq is rich. The man that signs Shaq's check is wealthy, right? You need wealth. Like you can't call anyone like this late at night, right? Like this is crazy. Someone said to me, my clients call me at 11:30 at night. And my answer to them was like, are you stupid enough to pick up the phone? There's no emergencies. If you have a scheduled call and you have an investor in Hong Kong and there's a time difference and all this other stuff, fine, I understand it. There are other people that I argue with all the time, and this isn't like a disagreement. It's like, you don't have to do this. If you choose to do it, that's fine. Just know that there are other ways to do this. Look at what Jacqueline said. She's being very vulnerable. We can all do this. You know, you get to the end of this stuff and working it, like, you know, when Compass became #1, I realized that I've been here for 40% of this entire company, its existence, right? So like when I got here, there was no business tracker, the CRM didn't exist. There was none of this concierge. There was no bridge loans. Coming soon was in here. I have literally seen all of this stuff created, right? So in essence, everything we do here is on the operating system of Compass. And the thing that they ask us the most is when we're doing it, what we're taught is when I was an employee here, they'll tell you what success looks like, right? And we sat down as a team, myself, David, Deborah, and we mapped out all of these courses, right? Like on those big pieces of paper. And then in the end, we went and chopped them up and changed them and looked at your journey. And it's like, what does success look like? Success at the end of this looks like people understanding how to use the best things they have for free at Compass, paired with actual strategy, right? Like anyone could tell you how to hit a button, but we want to offer you strategy and ways that you can get time back. You have less stress. You can bring the joy back to your business and ultimately be happier, right? I will never forget how many people said they have kids here, right? Raise your hand. Do you have kids? A lot of people have kids here, right? There are people at home that only want your time. That's it. You know, I had a mindfulness coach. He asked me this question every single time. Did you build a week of fulfillment or did you build a week of regret? Right? We live in a world where we look at the amount of time. I saw somebody's ad lib of regret. If you look at your phone, the amount of time we spend on our cell phone, you look at the amount of time we spend with unrealistic clients, then we look at the time that we feel we're missing with our kids. That is not a good math equation. That is not a career that anyone signed up for. So if there's one thing that I can tell you, boundaries might be hard, but every other business does it. And if you go back to the boundary section and you watch how we frame the conversation, people can understand this stuff. And if someone wants someone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, ask them if they're willing to pay you a 10% buyer's agreement retainer for your time. Find people that value your service, but that's why you need standards. Listen, I'm convinced that I care more about people than any other real estate coach that's ever lived. And if you have not sold real estate, you don't know what it's like, right? I got my license when I was 23 years old. I had 2 kids and I was the sole earner of my house. So if you don't know what it's like to wake up in the morning and have that pressure where you need the income and your phone's ringing at 10 o'clock, or you might not be in the place you want, or you have big goals, it's very hard to say no. It's easy for someone that's never done this before to say it. But if you don't create without structure, there's no scale, right? You already have a profitable business. Then it's like, how do I take what I'm doing and make it repeatable? Then when it becomes repeatable, can I make those repeatable tasks predictable? And then when I make them predictable, can I scale them through other people, right? And what we've started over the course of these 9-10 weeks is essentially the beginning. This is the beginning for all of us. So I'm going to share something with you, which I'm not supposed to share. I'm going to give you like a little tidbit. And the first time we actually was going to talk about it, it was in Boston at our event. You know, I find in coaching, what's really hard is this. Your business, and I can look at my map as an agent, you need to learn technology. You need to learn sales skills, right? You also, if you're a team leader, you need to know about how to grow and scale your team. You need executive leadership skills in managing people. You need to know marketing. You need to know branding. You need to know social media. You need to know about hiring people. You need to know about digital marketing. You need to know about tax planning. You need to know about financial investments, right? All of these different things. How much can one person really do? I don't know about you, but does that sound overwhelming? Right? And then you put all this stuff together, and guess what? It's like the experience you had before you go to Compass. You have to go to all of these different places to find this information. It's fragmented, it's consuming. It's fragmented, and it is confusing, and it's overwhelming, right? So in thinking about this and thinking about all of you, in essence, what we're all doing in coaching, whether we realize it or not, we go to all these different places, but it's like, imagine your phone operated on iOS, Android, and Microsoft, how confusing that would be. So if you don't go somewhere that doesn't have a central operating system, this is always going to be your experience in learning and development. It never changes. So like what we started thinking about is like, what is the future of coaching? What would a world look like where if there was one central operating system, Compass? The difference between Compass and all these other companies is you came here for technology, the talent of the employees at Compass, right? And the culture. So if your entire coaching system, world, platform is not built on that operating system, it will always be fragmented and you'll never maximize what you're going to get out of this place. So what did we say the future of coaching was? If we could apply strategy plus technology all on one operating system, right? So this is what we call the future of coaching. We will unveil this in May with a lot more details. But could you imagine what it would be like if you signed up for one program where we could train your admin if you had a team, right? And we built the whole calendar out 6 months in advance. And we knew the 6 months that people were locked into the program so we could really go deep on community. So if you wanted to work with David and you needed executive leadership skills and you wanted those classes, you could attend them. But at the same time, if you have an admin and you didn't want to train them, our admin program could train them within there. If you want to learn the technology, pitching Compass and all this stuff, you could come to my classes. But there's also expert mentors that help you with marketing, bookkeeping, hiring, financial planning, the entire thing in one place. So the same way Robert dreamed of like, how do I take real estate and put it in one place as an agent? We have dreamed and figured out how to put this all into one place with you. One of the people that we have that's agreed to be part of this program for personal brand building, I have a social media influencer who has 340,000 people on his Instagram page. He has brand deals with Maserati, Saks Fifth Avenue, Vital Proteins. He's been on Men's Health Cover 2 times. I have these kinds of people coming to these programs for you. I've gone out to my network and I found some of the best experts at what they do in the entire world to bring this all together. Everything is going to be a curated learning path. Everything will be here in one place with one operating system where I could personally say that I've helped create every single class and the strategy. This is what I feel the future of coaching is. And this is what those of you who would like something like this can do. Because if you're a small team and you're growing, guess what? You need help training your admin. You need an executive leadership team on like, how do I train my team? How do I do performance management? How do I build culture? How do I have a mission statement? But normally you'd have to go to 15 different programs to get this stuff. And now while you're in the leadership program, your admin needs help. And then where do you go? And none of these things are all built on the Compass tools platform and the stuff you all have here for free. So this is what the future of coaching is. And I'm excited to share it all with you here, as I feel like we do have a bond. There's nothing you can sign up for with today. It doesn't exist, right? But I promise you, you will be the first people to hear about it. The marketplace opens up on May 3rd, and we will have this program in there, and we'll give you guys all advanced access. We'll have a private webinar for you that want to do it. So that's kind of like what we have in store in the future. We still have one more session, right? I wanted to do a bonus session on just Q&A, right? You've gone through 9 or 10 weeks of listening, but it's not about listening, it's about doing. So next week, for those of you who want to go, it's at 4 o'clock. It's at a different time. We'll send you questions, and like just like they do at Compass with Slido, we'll be able to ask your questions. We're going to listen to the questions, and we're literally going to answer all of them, right? Everyone here will get a calendar invite for 4 p.m. So it'll be the same exact thing. If you're interested in joining us in Boston, we already have a couple hundred agents, and you'll see a lot of comms. We partnered with the local Boston region. They're doing a Spring Fest, and our event's the first day. Their Spring Fest is the second day. There's going to be probably 1,000 agents from around the country going there. It'll be like a mini retreat. It'll be a great time. If you're interested in going, we're happy to share the information. But more importantly, the question that you all want to ask yourself is, what are you going to do next? What are you going to do? Is it building boundaries? Is it creating a predictable seller experience? Is it making sure that your CRM is clean and you have confidence? It's really simple, right? Remember, only you can make it complicated. I believe that we have given everything you need to be successful here. We've given you handouts, we've given you deliverables. We've given you a community of people to work with. We've given you what's next. And of some of you, I've seen 5 messages asking me, is your coaching program going to be priced out for all of us? And the answer is no. This mega program that we're talking about is going to be something that every single one of you can do. This is not like, you know, if you think about education and if you really care about people, the goal is to help as many people as possible in the most impactful way. And that's what we want to do between events and experiences. And that's why community is so important, right? How can we take the learnings we have here and share them with all of you? How do we get all of you to get relationships with each other? You know, tomorrow is actually our company's 2-year anniversary. And, you know, I was reflecting back on how great this all has been. And someone asked me, what's the best part of it? It's all of you. It's the people. It's the people. It's the story. It's the journey. It's the connections. It's when you see 2 people that have now known each other in a year at a Zoom screen, meet each other in an event, hug each other, smile, and they text and they share their stories and are connected every day. Now that is fulfillment and impact, right? Anyone can come here and tell you what to do. It's the people that help you do this after that really care. So next week is a Q&A. You can ask anything you want. Anything. We'll send you the stuff. Feel free to ask. I'm going to try to group them all. And as you can see, if we do rapid fire, I can get through an enormous amount of stuff in 1 hour. You should see what we do at our events. Brooke, a couple of people asked about the event, so we'll post the link on there. We'll stay on here for a few minutes and answer anyone's questions. But more importantly, for almost the 400 people that are here, I can't say this enough. Thank you. You know, thank you for being a guest. Thank you for having your cameras on. Thank you for the smiles. Thank you for sharing the wins in the chat. Like, thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for being those kinds of people that show up for yourself so you can make everyone else's lives around you better. And I ask you and I challenge you, and you owe it to yourselves to make your lives better. Because if you're not making your life better while you do everything else, you're going to leave your gas tank on empty. I'm not into this whole, you know, you could put your own oxygen mask on first. I'm into the words that say, I choose me, right? You should choose yourself. You should choose your happiness, your fulfillment, the right clients, the right skills. All this stuff is in front of you. Life is given to you 24 hours at a time. If you don't like what's going on, it's simple. You wake up tomorrow and you start making different sets of choices. New choices lead to new outcomes. Consistency leads to momentum. Momentum helps you find multipliers, and that's where you really grow. You're 30 days away from changing everything. So I encourage all of you to come in the Q&A. I encourage you all to get to know each other. And I encourage you all to have enough self-care for yourself to learn to say no. I've given you all the cool gizmos, gadgets, tricks, right? Remember the whole, what's a real estate technology company? Like, we have all that stuff. But you have to practice. You have to commit to yourself. And if you block this time off in your calendar, I don't care if you sign up with us, someone else, continue your journey. If this time is blocked and you know you have work to do, keep the time block here. Don't just release it. Be in momentum. That's the only way this works, right? Like, you think about coaching, I think about there's coaching, right? Helping you get to where you want to go. There's performance coaching, teaching you how to get the best out of yourself. There's being a consultant, that's like producing the work and giving a deliverable, right? We updated our mission statement in this whole big rebrand, and I'll leave you with this thought, and you guys could hear this first too. So my friend, she said to me, she goes, you know what you really do, Chirag? And I'm like, I have my pen ready. And she's like, this should be your mission statement. And I said, what is it? She says, you help people fulfill the promises that they make to themselves. She goes, that's what your coaching really is. It's not coaching for compliance, it's coaching for success. And success means something different to everybody. When you showed up here through these 10 weeks, you made a promise to yourself. Whether it was to learn something, to earn something, to invest back in your business. Now, we want to help you keep those promises you make to yourself. But the most important promise is the ones you make yourself. So you have to keep them to yourself first, right? So if you have this stuff blocked, stay on, stay in momentum, right? So look, when I say this, I say this all the time, and I really mean it. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for making this all great for all of us, right? Like, it's amazing that people came here and the majority of you all turned your camera screens on, right? It wasn't a bunch of black screens, which shows you're really engaged. So I'll stay on for a couple minutes if anyone has any questions. And if not, look, I'll see you all. And if I don't, thank you again so much for being on this journey with us. I will feel a connection to this 10 by 10 group forever. This was a really special time for all of us. And I hope you get to continue this journey with each other as well. So I hope everyone has a great day. Fran, I'll see you tonight. Boston will be fun, David. There's a question here. The documents and all this stuff will be up for the next month. For anyone that decides to join our programs and everything, they'll be up forever. So go download all of them, keep them, use them. James, I'm looking forward to meeting you in Boston too. It's really cool with these live events. I don't know if you have kids and seen Toy Story, right? Like when the toys come to life. So that's what it's like when having these live events. It's like when all the Zoom screens come to life. And it's like, I call it like the digital media effect. And I remember many years ago being at a conference, and like that's when Facebook first came out and you'd share everything on there, right? And I remember a woman running at me like with her arms like this, and I didn't know whether to run, duck, or stiff arm her because I was like, oh my God, like who is this person? But I realized that that person had been following me, engaging with me, and knew more about me than most of my friends did because she actually cared. And like you go through Zoom and you see all these people, and like, you know, you just see people, and like every single day I've seen some people, right? Like our group program, I see Susie 3 times a week. I see James multiple times a week, right? And like when I see these people, I want to give them a big hug, but I've never even met them in my life before. So it's a very interesting phenomenon. How many participants in the group? That big group program, I don't know how many people there are. I'm sure there'll be several hundred, but everyone, Jessica, is going to break up and ultimately in a different learning path, right? So here, I'll unmute you. You can unmute yourself. There you go. So are you, what type of agent are you? A team leader, a principal agent, team member?
And you're speaking to me,
Yeah,
Jessica? Yeah, I'm individual. Sorry for the loud background noise. I'm an individual agent.
So perfect. Like one of the nice things about that program is your track, right? You definitely want to go to the digital marketing part. You're definitely going to want to go to the branding part. You definitely want to go on the social media, personal branding part. You want to attend the sessions with me on the Compass tools, systems, strategies, pitching. You'll want to go to the financial part, the tax planning part. So there are all these different tracks depending on who you are. So like when we mapped out this program, we're like, all right, if you're an individual agent or a principal agent, here are the things that we think you should do. If you're a team leader, here are the things you should do. If you're on someone's team, here are the things you want to do. Because in the end, there's certain segments that are individual to each part, right? But a whole of all this stuff, like we have a tax planner that we're bringing on here. He normally charges $500 an hour to talk to people, right? And we'll have him on once a month. There is literally, what is the name of this program? We called it the CS Playbook, the Chirag Shah Playbook, right? Like I'll give you another hint. I have a friend of mine who is the top executive recruiter in the entire real estate industry, period. She's going to come do a session once a month on hiring, right? Like we have like crazy successful people that are all coming here to give their time to this community. So there's something for everybody. And it's interesting to see because once we see who's in each group, then we're going to say, all right, like who wants accountability, agent-led prospecting sessions, agent-led CRM sessions. The way that we think about it, this should be the only coaching program you need. And there should not be contracts for one-on-one coaching, meaning like if you want to buy a coach and you're in the program, it's the same price as a 6-month contract, but you could buy 4 sessions at a time because You might not need to meet with somebody. And if you want to buy a 6-month contract, it's because you want to lock in somebody's time for yourself at the same day, same time of the week, 6 months in a row. So this is like everything that everyone's ever wanted in a program in one place. And my job is to organize it so it's specific to Compass, it's specific to the culture, and it aligns with what's going on at the brokerage, if that helps. We do offer one-on-one coaching. We have other coaches. My calendar, unfortunately, is filled, but our other coaches are great. David's available. And a lot of our other coaches are much more talented than I am. Quite frankly, I'm just a better speaker, I think, than the group I have here. We have a very great group of people with a lot of different skills. Does anyone else have any other questions? Virtual hug. Thank you. What is the name of this program? Brooke, check in the link not working for a CRM playbook and everything. So some of the links not working. We have a whole bunch of like playbooks that we've uploaded about all the Compass tools we made. Go on today before this thing comes down and download everything and put it in a folder. So you have it all. All right, everybody. Well, will you incorporate the EQ concept as well? Yes, David is the EQ master, right? There'll be a whole section on emotional intelligence. So just think about it like this. Every single aspect of your entire real estate business, from financial management to tax planning, I'm looking at my map, to marketing, to branding, to social, to digital marketing, to websites, right? It is taxes, bookkeeping, like Compass tools, sales, pitching Compass, objection handling. Everything is going in here. And all of the programs that we've ever made that are pre-recorded are all going in here too. This program will only open twice a year. It's a kind of open enrollment. Once the enrollment closes and June 1st starts, you're locked in and nobody new can come in. This is not rolling admission because we want to take the people that are here and make sure that they all get to know each other, they work together, and there's a real sense of community. So, and that's kind of it, right? So with one-on-one coaching, is there accountability for us to figure out something else? Of course there's accountability. We actually have this little app that we're working on, right? It's called Spark, right? So anyone in the group or like one-on-one coaching, Spark is something that sparks you to do the things that you want to do. It's like a text message reminder, like, hey, did you turn your phone off the rest of the day? Hey, did you update your business tracker, right? And the people that want to opt into Spark can get a couple sparks from us a day of just some inspiration to continue on the journey that we know they need to do. Because we know that accountability works, but it has to be, it's not like, why didn't you do this? It should say, hey, check this out. Like, hey, friendly reminder, like go into your business tracker and update your conversations. The open enrollment will be from May 1st. Well, this, for all of you that have the 10 by 10 funds, you'll see this in here on May 3rd, right? There'll be an enrollment. I will have you guys have priority access before anyone gets into it. And we'll even do a webinar prior to May 3rd for all of you to walk you through the whole program, right? Like we'll have the calendar, everything will be baked out. It'll be really exciting because we believe that this is, if you get this program, it's like buying everyone else's program in one place. The cost of the playbook, we're finalizing the cost, but it's not going to be $1,500, $2,000. It's nothing crazy like that. We want to make it that if every person that attended this workshop wanted to do it, they could. So that's the only thing we're finalizing. Right now, we're focused on just building out and finalizing all the content, the partners, and everything else. Yes, we will keep the Pacific, the West Coast in mind in time. And my sessions that I teach in there, I do them twice. Right? So the other sessions will generally be a little later in the afternoon. So it seems I didn't plan on talking about all of the stuff. I want to give you a teaser, but now that you've asked all these questions, I'm obligated to answer them. So look, make sure on this note, I'll leave you this. Make sure you have your implementation list. And what am I doing to celebrate my birthday? I'm going to take my kids to the movie that they want to see. I'm going to take them to the arcade. And we've bought these big calendars as families. And my wife has found this website, the 50 best places that you need to take your kids. And for the month of July and August, I told my kids they could go anywhere they want. So we're going to have a calendar. We're going to go through the website and we're going to plan out our entire summer together. And then this week we'll book the hotels, the travel, and get a dog sitter. And so that they know, as I've gone through this crazy first 6 months of working and traveling and 70, 80-hour weeks and building and putting all this stuff together, that the summer's for them, and that there is time and that you can work hard. And also I really want to be an example, like you can work hard and have a great business, but you can also be very present and have a great life. So that's what I'm doing for my birthday. So thank you all. I can't wait to see you guys next week, and happy Thursday. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.